Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca and today I've got the window open. It's a beautiful day. It's one of those days where when you step outside it actually feels like the same temperature. When you walk out there it doesn't feel like anything. You know those days? That's exactly what today is, and it's beautiful. And I'm standing here and I'm smelling the beautiful scent of the huge wisteria plant in my yard. I have to show you before we get into the houseplant stuff. Houseplant people, don't leave. I will be getting to them. Look at this. Can you even believe? And if you can see them, whoa, there are bees everywhere. Like, this thing is covered in bees. It's like a whole clan of carpenter bees. And carpenter bees are really docile. Like, they're kind of like an intimidating bee where they'll like come up close to you just to scare you, but they're not gonna do anything. I wish that I had smell-o-vision so that you could smell this too, but I've just opened the windows and like the whole house just smells so good. So anyway, I wanna spend time outside today so that I can be smelling that. But today we're actually going to be bringing the cacti outside because it is officially past the point where we are anticipating any freezes moving forward. When I first moved here, I put the cacti right here in this spot, and we have our outdoor table here and then our grill, and then like Nora has a little playhouse. Those are my seeds. It's like gardening stuff. So I think that this is still possibly the best place for it. I don't want it to be too close to Nora where she plays. So I think that this is going to be good. So I'm just going to bring out the stands and then we will put all of the plants on them and they will get their first watering since, when did I bring them in? Probably like November. I don't water my cactus during the off season because I don't want them to grow. So if they are not getting any water, then they're probably going to go into like type of dormancy because I don't want winter growth, because winter growth tends to be not very pretty. So thankfully they didn't do anything this year because they also were not getting really any light at all. I've heard some people actually put their cacti in the off season in a dark room, and essentially that's what they were getting with the lighting in here. It's a north facing sunroom and they're on the very opposite wall, so they really weren't getting very much light at all. This faces northeast, so they'll get really good morning sun and then just sort of ambient sun the rest of the day. So we'll see how they do with that. I'll definitely be able to gauge how well it's going pretty quickly based on the growth that it's putting out. Like if it starts getting skinny at any point, I'll know that it's not enough light and that I should figure something else out. But we're gonna see how this goes for now. Okay, we're gonna start off with this. Just needs a bigger pot, mostly just because it's getting taller. It also recently put out a bloom, which I hope wasn't like a death bloom situation. It looks fine, like aloe bloom, but every time I see, I don't know, I just got nervous. I assume it's mostly, yeah, it's root bound. She needed this, but I have too much soil in here. I wanted to just like bury it deeper, which it's not really getting deeper in this pot at least. I guess that's slightly better, but I was hoping that it would be like straight up like this, but I would need a pot that's significantly taller, which I do have, but I tend to like my cacti in shorter pots because they just don't have that tall of a root system, and I'm mainly just trying to cover this, which I might just have to get over because I don't want to put it with too much soil, especially since I'm using De La tanks, which normally I would use my tanks cactus mix, but I don't have any. And De La tanks is a pretty similar formula. It's a little bit more dense than the cactus mix. So we'll see how this goes. I'm only gonna do probably 2 today, so we'll know if it was a good idea or not pretty quickly. I've heard of other people potting their cacti in De La tanks and not having any issues, so I think it'll be fine because De La tanks is still way, way chunkier than most commercial cactus mixes on the market, so I think we'll be all right. Honestly, that might be the only one that needs like a full repot, and for the rest of them, I'm just going to top up the soil, and again, like I said, do a little fertilizer. Fertilizer for everything is Tank's Super Mix Organic Fertilizer. I use it, I've had actually this bag for like a couple of years, and I have given lots of it to friends, and I still have so much. So I'm just gonna like fill this measuring cup up and just sprinkle on an appropriate amount. Honestly, this is such a gentle fertilizer. I think it's a 2-1-1 and it's organic, so really fertilizer burn is not a huge concern of mine at all. So I'm just going to sprinkle this on just a little bit around the base of each plant, and then as I water it, this fertilizer will incorporate into the soil and just improve soil health, which is really what we want for fertilizer. Fertilizer is used because the plant has taken all of the nutrients from the soil, and in order to not have to repot your plants every 3 months, you do things like fertilize to re-enrich the soil with nutrients that it needs. And the Supermix Organic Fertilizer is a personal favorite because I can use it on houseplants, cactus, flowers. I can use it in my garden. So I like having a multi-purpose product because I just don't want to store a ton of different things. I also just don't have the energy to research a ton of different things, so it's nice that I can just use this. This one is not going to get fertilizer because it just got a repot, and my Dela Tanks comes pre-fertilized with the Supermix Organic Fertilizer. So really, I'm just doing a little bit around, like honestly, not very much. There we go. I'm also topping these up with soil, but it won't be as much as the other plant got, so I feel okay about it. But generally speaking, I'm never really concerned about over fertilizing with this stuff because it is just so gentle. There is, however, an entire measuring table for you on their website. I will also put a screenshot of it on this video so that you can see. And I have measuring spoons that I just had that were old, and I keep them in the bag so that it's easy. And then I have this really big one for like bigger plants that need to be fertilized. All you do is you sprinkle it on and then you water, and then it incorporates into the soil, and it makes for really beautiful fertilized plants. Show you just a little bit of the differences after I cleaned up. Not a ton, but this is the summer setup, I guess, for the plant room. Okay, Miss Monstera is now gone. She is on my porch. I will show you that in a second, but instead of her, we now have this stand so that it can be kind of reflective or reciprocal to this side, which has that stand, which is easily one of my favorite plant stands that I own. It's so pretty. This whole situation is looking really pretty. I do need a plant to put here. I don't know where I'm going to get it. There might be one from another part of the house that I can put there, but I really like the way that that looks. It's so cute, and still inside I have the soil and then like extra tools. Here is where the real change occurred. I brought in my cabinet, and I have been I've been adverse to having the cabinet in here for a while because I just didn't know if it would be too much Also, it's a very different style than the rest of the room, but I think that it looks fine, honestly. I did a big rearrange in the actual house outside of this room as well today, so follow my vlog channel if you want to see that, because this used to be in my small living room and now it's in here. I have this plant on the side. It looks horrible. I honestly want to cut off all of the leaves and just start that over. It's a crystallinum cross of some sort. It just doesn't look great. And then over here I have this monstera, starts with an E. I always forget. Currently putting out a runner. It's just, I don't know, not my favorite plant at the moment. But I was thinking about putting this on the porch too, because I have space for like an upright plant, and I think that that would be a good fit. I wanted to make sure that I filmed this because we have some blooms coming in. These blooms are so beautiful. So this one hasn't opened up yet, but this one has, so you can see what they look like. They're so beautiful, and these leaves look like maple leaves. It's called a false maple tree, like that's one of its nicknames, but it has bloom there, and there's another one down there. Yeah, she is living her best life. I honestly don't have plans to move this like ever because it's seemingly really happy there, so that's cool with me. She can stay. But yeah, that's basically the room. It looks really cute. I love, love, love. The shelves are looking amazing. I'm currently watering, just casually doing a little bit of watering. I'm adding in some fertilizer. Not every watering, but probably about once a month. And I also bought some small self-watering pots because I want to put some small ones up at the front. So I'm going to pot some small Hoyas in this, specifically my Hoya linearis. So let's do that. I don't know what other Hoya I want to do. I'm gonna have to think about this over the next couple of seconds because this is a small plant and it's not gonna take very long. I've gotten many questions about these self-watering pots. I'm getting them on Amazon. I always link them in the description box. I've now tried the 6-inch and the 8-inch, and this is the 4-inch. Thank God they have them in all of these sizes, because when I like tried out the 6-inch, I think it is the first one that I did, I fell in love. They're really nice. Like just self-watering pots in general are great, and it's like a new thing for me. I used to be very anti self-watering pots, which is so silly to think about because it truly just makes my life easier. And I think the reason that I was so adverse to them is because depending on how you use them, they could disallow your plants from drying out. And I think that that's an important part of plant life, like the soil drying out at some point, not necessarily for a super long period of time, but just a period of dryness. I think also the De La Tank's soil, which is the soil that I co-created with Tank's Green Stuff, this soil really is so great for self-watering situations. And I'm not just saying that because like it's my product. I literally do believe this because it is so chunky. It doesn't like create a really soupy situation in the pot when it stays moist for a while. Like the plant is able to have plenty of air and space in its roots, even though it is wet a lot of the time. I don't know. There's obviously a difference in my head between plants being wet and plants being moist. And my take is a chunkier soil like De La Tank's creates an environment where a plant can stay moist but not wet. Like there's some plants that like wet feet. Most plants are not like that, but there are some that will like thrive with wet feet. But a lot of them just, they want to have the opportunity for moisture, but not necessarily be drowning all the time. So anyway, that's why I love De La Tank's. And like if you are new to using it, it might be different than other houseplant blends that you've used because it is so chunky. But truly, I think that's what sets it apart in like a really good way. It makes it very, very functional for a variety of houseplants, specifically Hoya. My Anthurium are really happy in it. Monstera are very happy in it. I mean, I'm just gonna list like all of the genuses because truly, I have every single plant in my collection in De La Tank's with the exception of my cacti. Those are in the Tank's Green Stuff Cactus Mix. But like my collection is a testament to the breadth of plants that can be happy in the soil. I don't know, it's just genuinely like one of the greatest things ever. I always have it linked in my description box, and it's available directly from Tank's Green Stuff, or you can also buy it from Amazon, whichever you prefer. I think I'm going to grab a Hoya, maybe from my bathroom, because I don't think I have any in here that I would want to put in here because they would be all too big. So I'm gonna go grab one from my bathroom. I grabbed my Hoya Crassia Pediolata. Thank you to everybody who ID'd it for me in the comments of that video that I posted last week. I genuinely would not have remembered. Oh, where's the other one? Oh shoot, I only put in one of the strings. Put a little bit more soil on the bottom. There we go. I really hope that this plant will be happy in this situation. We'll see. I'm gonna kind of observe the Hoyas in the self-watering pot. I think that they'll be fine. Lots of Hoyas are very happy in like not semi-hydro. I guess it would be semi-hydro. Those types of situations, pond and all of that. So I'm thinking that they'll be pretty happy, specifically the linearis. I just never remembered to water it, honestly. And now I have 2 of these pots. That's actually funny. Both of these were planted in these pots. These are from Front Range Clay, I think. And it's one of their planters that they have all the time. It might be a mold now that I think about it. That might be how they're making that happen so that it's perfect every time. But I really like that planter. It's really cute. And now something else will get to live in it. I don't know what. Now I have room for more Hoya. Oh, actually, I do have a bunch of Hoya that I just got cuttings of from Adam that will need to be potted up eventually, and those will be perfect. So perfect. This also is going to free up some space on that shelf in there, which means I will be able to put the new Hoya in there. And then I can even see, like, if I have any other like very obviously trailing Hoyas, I can put them up here too, because there's 4 spaces that I could potentially put these smaller pots like in front. They come in a pack of 2 when you order them. So if I just make one more order and find 2 more Hoya that I can put in them, then I think we might be pretty close to the final iteration of the pulley system, especially with the Spanish moss. It's so beautiful. We're gonna wrap up the video by watering the Spanish moss because I wanna show how I've been doing it. Look at how cute that is. Oh my gosh, I love that. I just gently grab the moss. Sometimes it's tangled in other plants, so I just am extra careful. And then I just pull it off, really. It's kind of a lot. Like, honestly, someone commented and was like, I know that's a pain. I don't know how long this is gonna last. I'm like, yeah, you are very right. This is a pain. But it's a pain, but it's not like that. It's not truly horrible. Like, for how beautiful it is, and if I have to do this like every other week, I will do that. I didn't do it last week, and it seems to be fine so far. So if I can get into a groove of doing this every other week, that would be great, because every week might feel like a lot, but we'll see. So that's gonna soak for about an hour. And in the meantime, we're gonna put these up. I've decided that since these are all like on a center spot, I'm gonna put these just between them, like right here in the middle. Oh my gosh, it's gonna look so good when I get 2 more. Like, I have way too many of these pots already. But do I really? I actually think that I need more. And then this one I'll put right here just for now. And then when I get more, I can put one here and here. And then I know that they come in pairs, but it would be cool to have one right here. Maybe not, because my husband always complains that he hits his head on the Spanish moss. So maybe a plant like right in that corner might be too much. But yeah, for now, this looks super good. I'm really happy with it. And I'm noticing that some of these are dry. And this is something that I was trying to say earlier, but I lost my train of thought. The reason that I am now okay with self-watering pots is because I realized that you can let them dry out between waterings. It's just that the watering period is much longer with a self-watering pot because it has like this basin of water to pull from, but you can still let them dry out between waterings. It has honestly changed my plant care so much, and I feel like I need to make a sit-down video about it, like just about this whole idea in general of like not keeping rigid rules, because a couple years ago I made a lot of houseplant rule videos, and I would actually be really interested in returning to those and looking at them and seeing, are these too rigid, and like, are they realistic for most people? Or was I just kind of in the mind of someone who takes care of plants full time? I don't know. Going back to work has given me a lot of perspective, as I've discussed, and I feel like maybe I can revisit some of my old like plant rules videos and see, I don't know, what still applies. But I'm gonna leave this down while the Spanish moss is being watered, and then once it's done, we will finish out this video by putting it back up. So it's been a couple hours, more than a couple hours, and the Spanish moss was soaking, and I just took it out of the bath. So now it's wet, and actually I have found that when it's wet, it spreads easier, because I think it's just like, for lack of a better word, it's like lubricated. This is the center where it's like kind of ugly looking. We're gonna start there. I split it in half at some point, and it has stayed split in half, thankfully, but I just put that on first and then bring this over. I am doing a little bit of a different method this time because I don't want it to be draping over the door area where Daniel laid his head on it about a trillion times. But this side is fair game. Okay, so once I get it on, I just start stretching it just to move it around, and I'm gonna let it be like really drapey this time. Okay, I just touched this fake stuff. The fake stuff actually looks like real Spanish moss when it's wet. I wish that it had the like chalky finish when it's like dry, but when you put these two things next to each other, I mean, clearly I can see that this is real and this one's not, but it looks a lot more real if you think about this being wet. All right, here's where we're doing something slightly different. I'm gonna put these here and just drape it like that, maybe. So it's not so in Daniel's face. A little bit draping in the front looks nice. Cool, I think that looks really nice. Okay, let's lift it up. Here's a piece that broke off. I'm just gonna put it somewhere. That's what it looks like, more spread out with the addition of the two up front. I don't know, I think maybe they need to be brought forward a bit more so they don't completely blend in with those. And it is so obvious how crooked it is now. I really need to fix that. Maybe that'll be a next time I pull this down situation, because it's so noticeable as I'm looking at it. Normally it's not as noticeable, but that's a big yikes. In any case, thank you for joining me for a weekend of plant chores. I started on Friday, I'm ending on Sunday. It just feels right. So yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already. If you like watching plant content, specifically houseplant content, houseplant display content, repot with me, all that kind of stuff. We do it all. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.